you're new to the channel, welcome to Dark Vision, a place where nightmares breathe and where the stories you hear don't always stay as stories. Tonight's tale is about something most of us ignore. Something hiding closer than you think. Something that waits just beneath your feet. This is The Thing Under the Floorboards, a story about a house, a secret, and a presence that never truly stays behind. Let's begin. I didn't grow up in a haunted mansion or a creepy gothic house people whisper about in town. My childhood home looked normal, ordinary. A simple single-story wooden house my dad built the year before I was born. Light brown walls, a porch swing, big windows. The kind of comforting place where kids played outside and neighbors said hello every morning. To anyone else, the house was warm and peaceful. But to me, it became the place that nearly ruined my sanity. What terrified me wasn't ghosts or shadows or strange sightings. It was what lived under the floor, something that wasn't supposed to exist. When I was young, my dad always told me never to step on the living room hatch. It looked like just another wooden panel, except it had 4 screws keeping it firmly shut. He said it was dangerous because the crawl space was filled with snakes and spiders. But the older I got, the more I realized he wasn't afraid of snakes. He was afraid of something else entirely. I was 16 when everything started. It was a Monday night. I remember because school had been awful, too many assignments, too much stress, the usual teenage misery. I stayed up late, earphones on, scrolling through my phone in the living room. My parents were asleep. The entire house was quiet. And then I heard it. A knock. A single, slow knock, coming from underneath the floor. I froze. At first I thought I imagined it. Maybe it was the house creaking. It was old after all. But then it came again. Knock, knock, knock. Perfectly spaced. Perfectly controlled. Like someone was knocking from the other side of the floorboards. My skin crawled. Something about the sound didn't feel natural. The knocks were too intentional. Too rhythmic. I tried to ignore it, telling myself it was nothing. But deep down, I knew this wasn't normal. The next night, it returned. But worse. Around 1:30 a.m., the knocking started again. This time it wasn't slow. It was rapid, urgent, like fingertips drumming, following a pattern that seemed intelligent. I stood up slowly, shaking, and the knocks followed me. When I stepped forward, the tapping shifted to match my footsteps. When I stepped back, the sound trailed under my feet. It was following me underneath the house. No animal behaves like that. No pipes knock in patterns. No house settles in a way that mimics footsteps. I barely slept that night, but the third night was when the fear truly began. I woke up to breathing, not my own, not my parents'. A rough, raspy breathing came from directly under the living room floor. I walked into the hallway, terrified, slowly approaching the living room as the breathing grew clearer. And then I saw something that made my heart stop. Dust, drifting through the cracks between the floorboards. Just faint, but moving upward, like something was brushing the underside of the floor as it crawled. I stepped backward immediately. That's when I heard a whisper. Hey, That's when I heard immediately that the voice was hoarse, distorted, like someone who hadn't spoken in years. Didn't sound human. It sounded like an imitation of a human, as if whatever was under there had been practicing speaking but never got it right. I panicked and ran straight to my dad's room and shook him awake. He didn't react with confusion or disbelief. He sat up instantly, wide awake, like he had been waiting for this. "What did you hear?" he asked calmly. I told him everything. Every knock, every breath, every whisper. He didn't comfort me or tell me it was nothing. He simply said 6 words that still haunt me. "Stay in your room tonight, no matter what you hear." He pushed me into my room, locked the door from the outside, and walked to the garage. I heard him taking out tools, metal scraping, a hammer. Then the living room lights turned on. If for 15 minutes the house was quiet, then all hell broke loose. Something screamed under the floor. A scream that didn't sound animal, didn't sound human, high-pitched, guttural, full of rage. The floor shook violently. Something slammed against the wood so hard I thought the planks would break in half. I heard my dad shouting something I couldn't understand. Something metallic clattered. The screaming grew louder until suddenly it stopped. Silence took over, a dead, unnatural silence. My dad didn't open my door that night. In the morning, I saw the living room hatch fully covered by a thick steel plate, bolted down with at least 20 screws. My dad claimed it was to keep critters out, but he didn't fool me. He didn't sleep that night. He sat in the chair facing that hatch until sunrise. Weeks passed without any further incidents. No knocking, no whispers. Life almost felt normal again, until my dad left for a 2-day work trip. The first night he was gone, around 1 a.m., I sat on the couch watching a movie. Then I heard the faint tapping again. Tap, tap, tap. Coming from under the metal plate, I froze, staring at it. The tapping grew louder. Tap, 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 tap. Fast. Desperate, like someone trapped in a coffin. Then a voice whispered, "Hello." I felt every part of my body go cold. The breathing returned. Ragged, hungry, please, help. The words were wrong. Too broken, too mimicked. And then it spoke again, this time angrily. "Let me out." The metal plate rattled violently. The floorboards trembled. Dust sprayed upward like something was clawing at the metal. I screamed and ran to my mom's room. She bolted upright and grabbed my arm. But when she entered the living room, everything fell silent instantly. She whispered, "Don't ever talk to it. Don't ever answer. Don't acknowledge it." Her hands trembled as she locked the door. Dad came home the next day and reinforced the hatch again. Another sheet of metal. More screws. Then he asked me, "You didn't speak back to it, did you?" "No." He nodded with relief. "Good," he said, "because it learns. It remembers voices. Those words have never left my mind." We eventually moved out when I turned 18. Dad refused to sell the house, saying it wasn't safe. He locked it up and told no one the truth. Years later, after Dad passed away, I drove to the house for closure. It looked abandoned. But as I stood on the old wooden porch, I felt it. A faint vibration under my shoes. Rhythmic, familiar. Knock, knock, knock. My blood turned to ice. And then it spoke. From deep inside the house, "I remember you." I stumbled backward. You never answered me. The floor inside the house thudded violently. A deep, powerful thump, like something massive was slamming upward. I didn't wait another second. I ran to my car and sped away, but distance didn't help. 2 nights ago, the knocking started again. Not from downstairs, not from the walls, from the floor of my apartment. I live on the 3rd floor. There's nothing under me but someone else's unit. Yet the knocks always follow me, matching my steps. Just like before. Last night, around 2 a.m., I heard the whisper again, closer than ever. "Let me out." You should have answered. I'm almost there. This morning I found dust rising from a tiny crack between my bedroom tiles, just like the old house. And just now, while writing this, I heard the softest knock, right behind me, from the floor. If you ever hear knocking under your floorboards, no matter how curious you get, no matter how human the voice sounds, do not answer, do not look, do not speak, because once it learns your voice, it will follow you, it will chase you, and it will never stop. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to hit the like button. It helps more people find Dark Vision, and if you're new here, subscribe for more terrifying stories every week. But before you go, if you ever hear a knock beneath your floor tonight, pretend you didn't. Sleep well, if you can.